Hello, YouTube. Today we are doing a replay review for Maximum. She is... Oh,
I'm
it's
Plat.
not pulling up the current game. You're Plat in this game. Okay.
Yeah.
She's Plat in this game. So we're going to go over, we're going to kind of tell her what she is doing well, what she can do better, and how she can kind of start training herself for those higher levels. We're going to hop right into it. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so we're going to start off with kickoff. So first things first, I want you to start flipping for this boost, and I want you to avoid grabbing this one.
Avoid grabbing that one?
Do not grab this one. And the reason being, right, if you draw a line, right, from where you are to this boost pad, right, that is the fastest path. Coming this way is going to take you longer, right? As well as when you come this way, see where your car is facing now, as opposed to if you go the other way, right? If you just go this way, your car is facing here, right?
See.
So by coming and grabbing this boost, what you're doing is you're forcing yourself to go up this corner, which is going to kill your momentum and stop you from being able to get into the play faster. If you take this boost, it allows you to turn upfield faster, which as you get higher in the ranks, that's what you're going to want to do, because the only time that the ball is ever going to go in between this area, like in this cone, is when your teammate didn't do a good kickoff, right? And as you get in the higher ranks, your teammates are going to get better and better kickoffs, and you're just going to expect the ball to be either right on top of you or it's going to be somewhere up here, right? But it's not going to go behind you, so you don't really need to be prepared to turn back as often, right? So it's better if you just kind of take that straight route. Oops, I missed it. All right, so we already went over that. Oh, I skipped too far ahead. So good patience. You recognize that your teammate might be going. That was a really good turn off and shot, right? You kind of like fake it. They think that you're going and then you shoot it. That was really good. It's not going to work in the higher ranks just because they're going to notice that you're not going as very quickly, right? Because Germ should be like flipping for this ball right now as soon as he realizes that you're turning off, because it's showing that you're not going to push this. As well as you want to be careful about pushing this, because both you and your teammate are in this corner right now, right? Which gives you an issue, right? If they get a good pinch or something, you and your teammate are both kind of out of position. You're overcommitting, so you're not going to have as easy of a time getting back, right? So if you're going to push this, you want to know that you're going to get to that ball first, right? So that you can take possession. And if you're going to 50 this, you want to try to 50 this from this angle, right? Because the moment you start coming from this angle, you're not covering the ball at all, right? So anywhere from, if you're driving up the wall, you want to come like this, or you want to fly to it. That way you're staying goal side of it, right? Because the moment you come from this angle, you're pinching it into your net. If your opponent comes in from this angle, it's going straight into your net.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Math.
Right? So
something like that.
When there's two things, right? The opponent's corner is their safest spot and your most dangerous. Why is that?
Because
see this angle?
Yeah.
See how much of the net that you have to shoot on?
Yeah.
See that angle?
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah. So you can't, it's very, very, very hard to score from here. It's very easy for them to cover the net, right? They just sit right here and they've got the whole thing covered, right? Whereas if you 50 this wrong, it's straight in your net. right? So you want to be very careful about going into opponent's corner because it's safe for them. It's not safe for you, right? Meanwhile, on the other side is the exact opposite, right? This is your safest spot because they've got very little angle to shoot on. As long as you're positioned properly, which is in the net and facing out so that you have the entire field and net in front of you, right? You can save any of this as long as they're shooting it from this corner, right? It gets harder as they get more central because they have more of the net to shoot on, and where you are is very dependent on where they're going to shoot, right? Where you can cover. So you want to, if the ball is in your corner, just kind of leave it. If the ball is in their corner, just kind of leave it because you don't want to 50 this. You don't want to go for this. Let them take it out so that you have a better shot, right? You 50 from here, it's going to go mid, right?
Yeah.
That is a good shot, though. That's a nice little chip.
Thank you.
All right. So see right here?
Yeah.
Where is your boost pushing you?
To the right.
To the right. We're going to watch this in slow motion, actually.
Okay.
So right here, you're almost at a 90-degree angle from where you started, right? Your boost is right now, it's like this.
Yeah.
If you get any further this way, right, you're slowing yourself down. Right? So when you're diagonal flipping like this, and you're only doing this because you haven't learned the speed flip yet, because you don't really need to learn the speed flip yet. When you're diagonal flipping like this, as soon as your car gets kind of like this, right, as soon as it starts pushing you to the one side, stop boosting. Just let the play carry out. Let your animation carry out. And then start boosting again now. The reason I say now is because now your car isn't facing up, so you're going to keep yourself in the air longer because you don't want that. You want to land so that you have time to jump and flip again so that you can get a good 50 on this ball, right?
Yeah.
So right now, your car is at a point where you can face it downward so that that boost that you use is going to get you to the ground faster, right? And instead of 6 boost right now, you'd have a little bit more because you would have stopped boosting earlier, which would mean you have more in the tank, so that hopefully you can have 6 left as soon as the kickoff is over so that you can beat them to the side boost, right? Good boost grab. I don't mind the idea, but what are you going to do here? Right? What does this touch do for you?
I don't know.
You don't know where your teammate's at because you haven't looked, right? Not once.
Oh, I never look.
It's something you need to start paying attention to, right? Because you know that he's somewhere behind you. You know that he's somewhere off screen, but you don't know where he is off screen. So, like, a pass here could be good, but you don't know if he's mid and ready for that pass, right? And that pass, when you're hitting it, you should be hitting it off of the back wall right about here, right? So that it's going to bounce out so that your teammate has a good shot and they don't really have a chance to get to it, right? Because he's facing back. He's driving this way. He's driving this way, right? So as long as you can place it and hit it hard enough, it's going to bounce out, and it's probably going to land somewhere around here. So your teammate has a free shot, right? As long as the opponent doesn't read it well. But otherwise, you're not going to do anything with this ball that's worthwhile, right? So just let it drop. Just drive down. Try to catch the ball. Do something instead. Don't jump for this, because you jumping for this does nothing for you right now. He's not in a spot to challenge. He's not in a spot to challenge. You don't have to rush this, right? Draw them in. Draw them away from their net so that their net is open, right? It's not about scoring right away. It's not about putting shots on target right away. What you want to do is open the net, open the field, right? The reason that you catch a ball and dribble it in your own half is to get the opponents to push up. That way you now have space to work with in front of you. As opposed to you have space to work with in front of you and your opponents are just kind of sitting on their line, which can be nice if you can flick really well and stuff like that, right? But for the most part, they're going to save that ball because they've been sitting there preparing. You don't know what to do with all of that space because you've never been given that space before, right? Whereas on the other hand, if you're drawing them in, they're more likely than not going to challenge. So if you can beat one player, now you've got one player behind you and it's you two versus the one player in net. So with this, drive down, try to catch this, do something instead of this jump, right? Because the other thing is, you put yourself out of position. You can't even touch this ball. Right? Yeah. You're just kind of messed up now. And then you flip again. So that flip is extremely unnecessary, right? Because you're just putting yourself out of position. You can't do anything now.
Is that what you meant by stop flipping unnecessarily?
Yes.
Okay.
Right? If you're not 50ing or beating somebody, do not flip. Right? If you're not... If you're flipping to gain speed, yes and no, right? It depends on the timing. I will point that out when I see it because I guarantee you're going to do it in this game.
Okay.
I still do it. It's still an issue that I have. But if you're not hitting, like flipping into the ball to hit it with power, if you're not flipping into the ball for a flick, if you're not flipping into the ball for a 50 with an opponent, do not flip. Because what you're doing is, look at this. That was a solid 1.5 seconds where you can't move your car. You can't do anything. Right? The opponent now has momentum downfield, and you are just now landing to turn. Right? This is a good spot for a possible half flip. But right here, right, I'm really glad you don't flip because actually maybe a pre-flip would have been really sick right here. No, he 50s up. But you can't... That's like 3 seconds where you haven't been able to do anything, right? Just because of that one flip. What are you doing? Who has the ball?
My teammate.
Okay. What are you doing?
I wanted the ball.
Okay. One, you guys are not in comms. You guys are not partied up, correct?
Oh, yes, we are.
You are?
Yeah.
Tell him to leave this.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Tell him, hey, I'm going to take the ball. That way he stops and goes this way. You don't bump each other. You get a super nice cut on this ball, which takes this guy and this guy out of the play. And now you've got an open net.
Yeah.
If you tell him to leave this play is amazing. Because you
I'm
didn't...
really bad at communication.
Because I'm aware. Because you didn't... because you didn't tell him to leave this, now you're in an awkward position where you bump each other and now you've lost the ball again. Now these guys that are following have a chance to collect and put it away. Right? That simple, I got, right? And he registers and he turns away. That's all you needed to do. Because you pop this, both of these guys are gone. I guarantee it. And you just have a free net. As long as you hit this on the right spot, which is going to be like right around here. Right? Which, from how the play goes, that's where you would have hit it, kind of. Right?
Yeah.
Right there. Do not flip right there.
Okay.
Why? Why do you not flip here?
I don't know.
What is about to happen?
A potential goal?
A potential shot, right?
Yeah.
A potential collision. We'll call them collisions, right? Whenever a collision is about to happen, the ball has an unknown trajectory. You don't know where it's going to go, right? You can kind of guess based off of where the players are positioned, where they're going to hit the ball, right? You can kind of guess where a ball is going to go. That's how 50s work, right? If I can 50 and know how to 50, I can kind of place the ball where I want to place the ball, right? You don't know where this ball is going to go yet. You don't know if he's actually hitting this ball. You don't know if he's missing this ball. You don't know any of that, right? You flipping locks you into this direction of motion where you cannot do anything for about 2 seconds, right? And then you land, and then you can move, right? So now you can move. If he had just shot that instead of this air dribble that he's doing, you're scored on. Guaranteed it. Because right now the ball would be right about here. You can't turn fast enough. You can't get enough speed to get there fast enough to get that ball. Whereas if you hadn't flipped, right, you'd be here. You'd see that the ball is coming because you would have left ball cam on so that you can see where the ball is going. And you would have been up to intercept that, right? So the two things are, do not turn off ball cam here.
Okay.
Right? Because you're not checking for anything. There's no reason to have ball cam off here. Right? You know where all of the players are. They're all right there. You don't need a corner boost. You've got 34. That's plenty of boost to save anything from right here. Right? So do not turn off your ball cam here because you want to see where this ball goes. Do not flip here because you want to see where this ball goes. Right? Solid 50. Good. So now you can flip for the ball, right?
Oh, okay.
So right here, 50. Okay, you know that ball is not going anywhere because that guy messed up. They all went for that ball, right? There's no way that ball is going to increase its velocity by an unsavable amount, right? So you want to flip here towards the ball so that you can get near it and put pressure on them, right? Because if you flipped for this ball right here, right, as soon as you notice that there's nothing to do, you'd be at the ball now.
That's crazy.
Right? Which means that you've beat him to this ball. You're going to touch this ball past him. Now you have possession. Now, hopefully, your teammate is coming mid for a pass. He wasn't. But, you know, with time, with experience, that'll be there, right? Good patience. So that's a good flip, right? Because there's no collision happening. You know where the ball is going, right?
Yeah.
The issue is you turn too slow. Good drift. Unlucky. Split second faster. If you recognize where this is going right here, as soon as because you should be jumping right here as soon as he hits that, because you see that it's not going down. Already. Because you see that it's not going down. So why would you stay on the ground? Right?
You never know, man.
You never know. So the other thing is, don't let him get that. What's up, Ghost? Don't let him get that, right? Right here. Go to read this ball and the bounce off the back wall.
Oh god, I'm so bad at reading where the ball's gonna go.
So practice it.
Dang,
Start slamming a ball against a wall in free play. Just do it over and over and over again. Eventually you'll get the reads. Right? That's how you get better at double taps, is you literally just hit the ball against the wall and try to put it in the net on the second one. Right?
Yeah.
So just do it over and over again. If you want, I'll help you create a training pack, right? Because if you cut that off before he can even shoot that, right? You cut it off right here. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing is, if you, like, I said that this was a good flip, but, like, it's not, simply because you're locking yourself in this direction, right? Because if you'd just been driving, it would make this read and this cutoff a lot easier, as well as maybe you get that boost instead, right? The boost isn't a priority because the ball is, right? Because if you go for that boost and you get that boost now, he's sitting there waiting to take a shot. He'd be taking that shot right now, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to go for that boost, but you don't want to flip here because you want to be able to read this ball and that bounce easier. Flip for that boost. That way you're getting there faster, right? It allows you to get that boost faster so that you can get in that play faster. Because you'd already have it and you'd be turning upfield right now. Right? You'd be like right here. And it's those split second differences that matter, right? You want to be really careful of this. If he hits that, you can't do anything here. You're so far out of the play, right? What am I going to say?
Don't flip.
Don't flip.
I have time.
Plenty of time, right? Kick off ball cam, right? Right here. Kick off ball cam. Because you can see the ball out of the corner of your eye, right?
Yeah.
Why is it flying? Interesting. You can see the ball out of the corner of your eye. You know where it's going to be, right? So if you kick off ball cam, you can look to your right and see where the opponent is. See that you have time. So now you catch this ball instead of flipping into it, right? You see, okay, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. Now I either flick it or I drop it for a low 50, right?
Yeah.
That way you're beating this player instead of just handing him the ball, because now you're on the back wall. You can't do anything with this play and your teammate's all the way back there, right? They just get this ball. He shouldn't be, he could flip into this if he wants because he's got so much space to work with, right? But you've essentially taken yourself out of the play and made yourself unavailable, right? You can't do anything here just because you flipped. Good patience. I like that you didn't just rush back there. That's what I mean by good patience. I like that you didn't see that you're okay, my teammate's got it and I feel like I need boost. So I'm just going to go back, right? I like that you stayed nearby with the ability to come help if necessary. What am I going to say?
Wait at net?
Nope.
No?
No. Why do you wait at net? What would that do for you?
Oh, I don't know.
Right? Because you're at net now. That means, okay, I'm just waiting for this shot, which means you're going to stop, which means you've killed all momentum and you can't go anywhere. Right? Boosted this ball. You just picked up a full boost.
Oh, okay.
What use is a full boost if you're not going to use it? Boost at this ball and get there before either of the opponents can. Right? Because you could be there now. Right? At a minimum.
Crazy.
At a minimum. Pick up that boost. Okay, go. Right? As soon as you recognize that trajectory, you'd be... Yeah, right now. You'd be hitting that ball. Which means Germ Hoppa is out of the play. And Minim is maybe has a play, depending on how you hit this ball. Right? hopefully you would try to hit this ball somewhere over like here so that it bounces off the sidewall and your teammate can come around and do something about it, right? Or if you flip to the right as you do it, maybe you have a play next if you hit it like kind of here. That way, because you're gonna flip to the right, you're gonna land, right? And then you're gonna have a chance to play at the ball next because the ball's gonna hit and come out, right? And then maybe instead of playing the ball, you just go for a demo or a bump on Minim, right? Because he's gonna go all the way around, right? Because he doesn't want to, or he's gonna turn and challenge, one of the two, right? So if you, that's funny. But anyways, right? You want to try to cut this ball off. That way they don't have a shot, right? Because the best form of defense is a good offense. The way that you can stop them from having shots is by not allowing them to have the ball. So you being patient right here, yes, patience is good, but you need to understand when not to have patience. You don't have patience when it's a free ball and you think that you can either beat or 50. That's when you don't have patience. When you have patience is when the opponent has the ball on their car, has the ball in possession, right? That's when you want to have patience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good try. If you jump and flip into this a little earlier, right? Right here. You should be jumping, air roll a little bit to the left, right? That way your car is angled so that you hit it with this front bumper, right? When you flip diagonally to the right, because that's how you would shoot this, right? And you want to shoot this because nobody's back. There's no one back there. It's an open net. Put it on target, right? And put it on target hard. That way they don't have a chance to get back. What are you doing right now that's wrong?
I'm under the ball and still going forward.
Under the ball and still going forward.
Ball cam on.
And you have ball cam on. Under the ball and ball cam on is fine. That way you can watch what's going on, right? Because you know that everybody else is about to jump, so you want to see where the next play goes. But do not continue to drive under the ball, right? You want to either turn back or turn out. But anyways, you want to see where this play goes, right? So you either need to turn back by turning right, which would be the preferred one because you're already kind of facing to the right, right? It'd be easier for you to turn back by turning to the right. That way you get out of this play, right? The issue is you can see your teammate, right? You don't want to hit him as you turn back, right? So you want to be careful of that. But you want to turn back. That way you kind of take yourself away from directly under the ball. That way you can have a play or an impact if something does happen. Split second hesitation, right? I see the moment that you decide to go for this ball because you boost now, right? Two things. One, if you drift here, that turn is a little bit faster, which allows you to get there faster, which maybe you can just flat out beat him. So drift right here, right? So that you can kind of get to this ball faster, right? Because if you drift, boost, and turn all at the same time, and I want you to practice, but if you drift, turn, and boost all at the same time, you'll actually be surprised at how fast you can turn, like on a dime. I want you to practice that in free play at some point, okay? Just sit there and just do power slide cuts, just like that over and over again. And I'll give you an example afterwards if you want. But the other thing is, as soon as now, right? He just hit the ball. You see him kind of slow down a little bit. You know that ball is going faster than he is. He can't beat you to that ball, right? And it's like a quarter of a second that's the difference between when you should have gone and when you go, right? It's that little difference. And that's as you start playing the game more, you start getting more of a read on your opponents and how they're touching the ball, all that kind of stuff. You'll start to notice that you're going for those faster. That's that turn the brain off that I was talking about with you the other day, right? When I said, don't think, just go, right? Don't think, just go, right? But there are times that thinking is necessary. The issue is when I say don't think, just go, I'm talking about when you've played this game enough that you can understand and register immediately that they're not going to get to that ball before you. It's not think about, okay, how am I going to hit this ball so that I get it past them? It's literally just muscle memory because you know that you're going to go, right? It's improv. Most of this game is improv. If you watch the pros when they're 1v1ing and stuff like that, they're improving. They don't go into each attack going, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Because they know that what they're going to do is dictated by where their opponent is, how their opponent's moving, all of that kind of stuff. So maybe they fake a flick one time, and now they're in their head, the opponent's head, right? They're like, okay, I faked this last one, so who knows? Maybe I'll fake another, right? It all just kind of depends. That is a really good 50. Way to register that he doesn't have full control. Right here, I'd like to see you not boost into that, right? The reason being is by boosting into it, you're hitting it a little too hard. If you just kind of softly hit this.
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay.
I hit it and I was like, oh, sorry.
So you also, you burn your boost a lot. Like, I want to say this because I did notice it. I'm so proud of you because you play really, really well about boost. And I say this knowing, yes, about, right?
Oh, about boost, okay.
And I say this knowing that I tell you that boost is just a mental block, right? And I say that because I don't think I really understood until I watched you yesterday and right now that you play a lot on like not full boost. You're sticking around in plays that most players at your rank would not stick around for because they want that 100 in their tank, right? This is a prime example. You have 55. Pick up that pad. If you pick up this pad too, right? You're at 79, right? You know that you can stick around in these plays because you can pick up these pads, right? You're not always picking them up. Your pad lanes could be better, right? But you're sticking around in plays that most players in your rank would not. And that is beautiful. But you're also using a lot of boost when you probably shouldn't, right? Like as soon as you land here, you're landing in a corner. Corners eat up your momentum anyways. Don't boost through this. Wait until you get out of the corner and now start boosting, right? It'll save you more boost in the long run because you're not wasting it, right? It's like if you slam on the gas going up a hill, you're just going to kill your miles per gallon. You're not really doing anything to go any faster because gravity's working against you as well as the terrain, right? So as soon as you get to that level, that's when you would hit the gas because that's when you're going to get the most bang for your buck. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And here, the other thing about doing replay reviews like this, right? This is a lot of information. I do not expect you to take it all in at once, right? I still expect to see kind of some of the same mistakes, but I want you to start noticing them on your own, right? Mm-hmm. So that hopefully when we come back, you're like, no, don't talk to me about that. I already know. I've been working on that, right? I like that you grabbed that boost pad. I wish you would have grabbed that one to your right. I don't mind that flip because you kind of see the direction that he's going, right? And you know that he's got a free line to your net. Both you and your teammate are out of position, right? So I don't mind that flip. That's a good flip. That one, also not a bad flip, right? You're popping it. You're making the opponent awkward. Because you don't have much boost. So you can't really make a big play, right? Turn away. You're not going to get to that corner before him, right? Don't keep driving into that corner. You're not doing anything, right? As soon as you picked up that pad, you should have turned. Good padding. Good padding. Oh my gosh. You just jumped a little late here, but this is beautiful. Small pad. Small pad. Small pad. That's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of your kickoffs. That was not bad. I think you boosted a little too long. Right there.
Yeah.
See how it made you go back up?
Oh, maybe?
Right there. Your front end is pointing up more than your back end is, right? Which keeps you in the air longer. It's literally, it's a very, very, very minuscule thing, right? But it's something that's going to determine whether or not you have the time to land and then jump again. Say your car is rolling to the right. Yes? No?
Wait, what?
Look at when you jump, right? Your left, what is it? But your shocks, right, is fully compacted on your left side, whereas your right side is still fully extended, right? What that means is when you jump like this, your left side is going to fully extend, right? And your right side is still compacting. So they're still coming down on your right side. I don't know if this is making sense, right? So basically your shocks here are like this, whereas your shocks here are like this, right? So when you jump, this one is already spring loaded. So you're going to go up on this side, whereas this side still needs to come down before it can go up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why your car is going to rotate to the right here, is because you're jumping before your car is flat. Right? So that's that roll to the right there. Does that make sense? But if you didn't, right? So that's fine. That's fine. Stop boosting. Start boosting. Right? And you stop boosting because right here, your nose is higher than your tail, which means that now you're boosting up in an aerial fashion, which means you're not going to hit the ground as soon, right? You start boosting here because your nose is starting to point down again, right?
Yeah.
So it allows you to hit the ground faster so that you can land with all four wheels flat before you jump so that you have a better way at hitting this ball. But yeah, so I feel like we analyzed that. Do you want to go over this 50? Okay, we won't. I like that you turned ball cam on. Don't flip. You don't know what's going to happen yet. You can boost to get back if you want. Grab these small pads, right? Follow the boost lane. You don't need to flip to get back right here, right? Because maybe you could have been further up to help your teammate now, right?
Yeah.
Because instead of turning here, right, you could have turned at this last boost pad, right? Which means that now you're like 6 car lengths ahead of yourself, right? Gets you that much closer. Be wary of that demo, that bump coming back, right? That's the thing that's going to start happening to you. If you're slow and driving, especially parallel like this to the play, that opponent that's coming back, they're going to demo you 9 times out of 10. Because if their teammate happens to get a good play, now it's a 2 on open net, right? Because you take 3 seconds to respawn. The other option is if your teammate gets a good 50 and it goes mid, now you're dead and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
The best way to stop somebody from scoring is take them off the field. If they're not alive, they can't do anything. right? Way to recognize that that ball is going to bounce out, right? But you don't want to let them just have a shot. You want to do something about this, right? So either try to read this or something else. But letting them have that shot is not a good idea. That was weird. Don't jump.
No.
Right? If you'd just driven out, you would have had that. Right? Nobody's coming for that shot. Germ Hoppa messed up his aerial super bad, right? That first guy's already in your net. There's no reason to jump. Good flip. Way to get to the ball. Kind of threw the ball away though, right? You want to either touch this up the wall or to your right, right? That way you're dribbling across their net and you're creating an angle so that you can watch this guy the whole time, right? So if you dribble this way, you can watch this guy the whole time. And then you either flick it right before he comes to challenge, or you pass it across to your teammate who's hopefully right over here so that he can shoot, right? Or if you touch this up the wall, maybe you can go for an aerial or something. I know that it's not something that you've worked on, but the best way to do something is to try, right? But the reason taking this straight down here is a bad idea is because he just grabbed that corner boost, right? He's already right there. You're not doing anything with the play. You're not threatening anything. You're going into a corner, which is where they want you to go because you have no shooting angle from here, right? Like we already went over. I want to see you jump off the wall more. You don't jump off the wall enough. If you jump off the wall and barely touch this, it goes right to your teammate who has an open shot. And that is the end of the game. You have any questions?
No.
No, you do not. Sounds good. Do you feel content?
Yes.
All right, I'm glad. But like just this. Right? And if you want to, go from a dead stop. Right? Or you could practice, if you watch my bottom left corner, right, my controller overlay, right trigger is my gas, left trigger is my brake, my reverse or brake. And then this is my drift, right? So if you drift, right, and do like a J turn, right?
Hold on. Can you just, without touching anything else, can you just drive forward?
Good.
I feel like I'm always so slow when I drive forward. Why do you look like you're faster?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. But no, so like another thing that I do sometimes is I just sit here and I do cookies. Right? See how close to, like, try to stay in the circle. Right? Let's see if I can do it. Right? So it's just practicing gas, left and right, and brake. Right? Because then when you're out here and you want to turn around real quick, you could do that, or you could half flip, right? It all just kind of depends. So if I'm going and I want to turn, I can turn, flip, right? And then we went over practicing kickoff, right? So the other thing is, see how my diagonal flip doesn't even take me that diagonal? You're doing like a true diagonal flip. You're doing this, right? Whereas my diagonal is more of a lateral, right? That might also help you out on your kickoffs. Does that make sense? Max.
What? Hold on, I'm dealing with something.
No, you're good. Thank you guys for coming and tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the coaching. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I am streaming pretty much daily. Sundays we do a very long stream called Punish Me. That one's a lot of fun. I do hope that you guys come and tune in. Have a good rest of your night, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.